Welcome to Kanerika's podcast, The Digital Shift. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a really critical transformation, something a lot of companies are grappling with right now. That's the migration from legacy business intelligence tools, like Crystal Reports, CR, to modern platforms. We'll use Power BI or PBI as our main example.
Yeah, and this isn't just about swapping out software, is it? It's much more fundamental. Sticking with outdated tools like Crystal Reports. That can seriously put you at a competitive disadvantage. Think about it if your tech teams spend more time just managing reports, like tweaking formats and sending them out, instead of actually digging into the data.
Instead of finding insights.
Yeah. Exactly. If that's happening, it's probably time for a change.
And the cost of not changing, the cost of inaction, is pretty high. But on the flip side, the benefits of modernizing are, well, they're huge and measurable. We actually have some solid data on this, don't we? There was a big Forrester consulting study.
Oh, absolutely. The numbers from that study are quite striking. They found companies moving to Power BI saw an average return on investment of, wait for it, 366% over 3 years.
366% ROI. Wow.
It's significant. It really highlights the financial upside, better operations, smarter insights, driving decisions.
That's a massive number. Quick question, though. Is that figure mostly driven by, huge enterprise deployments?
Yeah.
Or do smaller companies see that kind of return, too?
That's a fair point. Larger companies often see the biggest dollar savings, sure, but the efficiency gains, those are pretty much universal. And that ROI isn't just cost-cutting. It's about moving faster.
Look at the other key stat from Forrester. Time to market for new products dropped from 18 months down to just 10.
18 down to 10 months, that's nearly halved.
It's a 44% reduction.
Oh.
That kind of speed, that agility, that's what modern data platforms enable. That's the real game changer. Okay, that adds important context. So let's pivot a bit. Let's unpack why these legacy systems fall short. What makes Crystal Reports specifically feel like aging infrastructure today? Why is it holding businesses back?
Well, you have to remember what Crystal Reports was originally built for. Its prime purpose was the printer. The whole design is geared towards fixed, pixel-perfect output. Things like invoices, complex compliance reports, mailing labels.
Stuff that needs to look exactly the same every time on paper.
Precisely. And it's great at that. But that whole philosophy is the exact opposite of what you need for modern data exploration. Plus, you've got limited support now. The interfaces, well, let's just say clunky is generous. And developers often have to manually code things that are just automated, built-in features and newer tools.
Right. So it's moving from static paper thinking to dynamic screen thinking. So what are the big advantages Power BI brings? What makes it so valuable in comparison?
We can break it down into a few key areas. First off, data integration. It's a night and day difference. Power BI connects easily to, well, pretty much everything, not just old school databases, but cloud services, SaaS apps. I think the last count was over 100 direct data connectors.
100? Wow.
Yeah, including all the major cloud platforms. This is critical for getting real-time or near real-time data refreshes, something CR really struggled with. Often you are stuck working with static data exports.
Yeah, the user experience. I mean, going from getting a fixed PDF report to actually interacting with the data must be huge.
Oh, it's transformative. Totally different world. You stop being just a report consumer and become a data explorer. Power BI gives you these interactive dashboards. You can drill down into details, cross-filter visuals, click on a map region, and boom, all the related charts update instantly.
You just can't do that with a static pixel-perfect report.
Not even close.
And what about the newer demands? Things like cloud infrastructure, AI capabilities. Crystal Reports wasn't designed for that era.
Exactly. Power BI is cloud native. And what's really powerful for larger organizations is its tie-in with Microsoft Fabric. Think of Fabric as this unified backbone for all your enterprise data warehousing, data science, analytics, all in one place.
Okay.
This integration brings AI features right into the mix. Things like automated insights, the system flags anomalies for you, or natural language queries.
You mean asking questions in plain English?
Literally. You type, "show me sales by region for last quarter," and it generates the chart.
That sounds like genuine self-service analytics, taking the load off IT, letting business users get answers themselves.
That's the whole idea. Legacy tools often meant a steep learning curve, always needing IT help for minor changes. Power BI is much more intuitive. It empowers users to build their own views, their own reports. That speeds everything up across the board.
Okay, last point on this section, cost. There's obviously an upfront migration cost, but long-term, the subscription model must be more efficient.
Generally, yes. When you add up the costs of maintaining old servers, paying for sometimes proprietary database access, plus all those developer hours for tweaks in CR. The consolidated subscription pricing for Power BI usually means lower overhead and a better total cost of ownership, especially over, say, 3 to 5 years.
Right. So the case for moving seems really strong, both operationally and financially. But now, the big question, the elephant in the room, actually doing the migration. How hard is it manually? If a company has, I don't know, hundreds or even thousands of these old CR reports, what's the reality of converting them by hand? Timelines, hurdles.
Yeah, this is where projects often get underestimated. It's definitely not a quick job. For a typical medium-sized company, you're realistically looking at 4 to 8 months for a manual migration project.
4 to 8 months.
And for large enterprises, it's common to see those timelines stretch to 12, even 18 months.
A year and a half. Wow.
The reason's simple.
Yeah.
You're not really converting. You're essentially rebuilding every single report from the ground up in a new system.
Okay, let's drill into why it takes so long. What's the biggest technical roadblock that causes delays and errors? I suspect it involves the formulas.
You hit the nail on the head. That's the #1 friction point. Converting the formulas and the embedded business logic. Crystal Reports uses its own specific syntax for calculations. It's kind of a procedural language you tell the steps to take in order. Power BI uses DAX data analysis expressions. DAX is totally different. It's a functional language, more like database queries.
Can you elaborate on that difference? Why can't you just translate code line by line?
Because Crystal syntax tells the computer how to process the data, step by step. DAX tells it what result you want, based on relationships in your data model. They think differently. And crucially, there are no reliable automatic conversion tools that can bridge that conceptual gap. So every complex formula, every custom sum, every piece of conditional logic, every business rule hidden in that old Crystal syntax.
It all has to be manually rewritten.
Manually read, understood by a developer who knows both systems, and then painstakingly rewritten in DAX, line by line. This takes specialized skills and leads to weeks, sometimes months, of development, testing, and making sure the numbers match. Reconciliation.
That sounds incredibly prone to error. Miss one comma, misunderstand one old rule, and your critical financial report could be wrong.
Exactly right. It's a major risk point. And the pain doesn't stop there. Next up is translating the report layout itself. As we said, CR is all about pixel-perfect, fixed formats. Think complex headers, footers, maybe subreports nested inside other reports.
Which Power BI, being dynamic and responsive, just doesn't handle the same way.
Correct. You can't just import a CR file and expect it to look right in Power BI. Its responsive design won't replicate that fixed layout. Things like subreports, they usually need to be rebuilt as separate visuals, maybe even new dashboards. Every single layout needs manual rethinking and redesign. It's a visualization philosophy shift.
And I imagine you hit unexpected snags, too, like connecting to older data sources.
Oh, absolutely. Legacy reports often use older connection methods, like specific ODBC drivers or old database versions. These frequently cause friction with Power BI's modern architecture, especially its data gateways for on-premise data. You can burn a lot of time just troubleshooting connections before you even start building. And then even if you solve all that, you still have the huge task of change management training potentially thousands of users on a completely new way to interact with data.
Okay, so manual migration is clearly long, expensive, and risky, which brings us neatly to automation, and specifically what we at Kanerika have developed. We saw this challenge companies needing to modernize, but facing this massive rebuilding task.
Yes, exactly. Standard migration is mostly manual labor, which is why it takes so long. So we focused on tackling the two biggest bottlenecks, the formula conversion and the layout reconstruction. That led us to develop FLIP. That's our proprietary tool designed specifically to automate these really complex migration tasks and, frankly, make the whole CR to Power BI transition much smoother.
So how does FLIP take a potential 10-month manual project and shrink it down so drastically? Can you walk us through that automated process?
Sure. It works like an intelligent pipeline, handling things in stages once it's set up. Step 1 is source file analysis. FLIP scans all your existing Crystal Reports files. It figures out the structure, how complex each report is, whether it's mostly tables, charts, or maybe those tricky master detail reports.
And that analysis must feed into how it handles the different formulas and logic.
That's where the real smarts come in. Step 2 is logic extraction. FLIP goes deep into the CR files and decodes that embedded business logic, those custom crystal formulas. It essentially translates the intent of the logic, preparing it for the next stage. It isolates the calculations before trying to convert them.
So instead of a developer manually puzzling over old code and rewriting it in DAX, the tool generates the DAX.
Precisely. Step 3 is Power BI file reconstruction. FLIP automatically rebuilds the reports using standard Power BI components, and importantly, it generates standard .pbip files. These are the modern project files for Power BI Desktop, so the output is immediately usable, maintainable. The core goal is preserving the original report's intent and that crucial business logic accurately translated into DAX and the underlying semantic model. And this whole process, step 4, automated conversion execution, runs in batches. FLIP can process hundreds of reports simultaneously, which gives you that massive efficiency gain.
That shift from months down to weeks, that really is the headline benefit, isn't it? What are the key advantages clients see with FLIP?
The time saving is definitely the most dramatic. We consistently see projects that would have taken 3, 6, even more months manually getting done in just weeks, which means that big ROI we talked about earlier, the 366%, you start realizing that benefit much, much faster.
And the cost savings naturally follow from cutting all those developer and consultant hours.
Huge cost savings, yes. Eliminating those prolonged, error-prone manual conversion cycles is a major win. But there's another benefit, sometimes overlooked. Preserving business logic integrity. Because FLIP uses standardized algorithms for the formula conversion to DAX, it avoids the human errors that inevitably creep in when people are manually rewriting thousands, maybe tens of thousands, of lines of complex code. You get consistency and accuracy.
Right. Now, this specific example, CR to Power BI, is a common one, but it's really just one piece of a much bigger modernization trend, isn't it?
It absolutely is. The core issue is platform obsolescence across the board. And that's why we at Kanerika, we use these kinds of accelerators for various migrations. Maybe you need to move from Tableau to Power BI, or from SQL Server Reporting Services, SSRS, to Power BI, or even modernize an old Cognos setup. The underlying need is the same. Modern platforms give you better data access, faster insights, lower running costs. They're essential to stay competitive.
So for you listening, hopefully you now have a clearer picture of why moving off these legacy systems is so important, the operational and financial stakes involved, and also the specific technical hurdles, like that really tricky crystal to DAX conversion, and how automation is now overcoming those challenges.
Yeah, and if you zoom out for a second, think about the kind of information your reporting system gives you. It dictates the questions your business can even ask. Crystal Reports, as we said, is great at producing that fixed, printable report. It answers the retrospective question. Okay, what happened last month?
But today's economy demands more. Right. We need to look forward, anticipate.
Exactly. Modern tools like Power BI, especially with AI and Fabric integration, they're built for real-time understanding and even predictive analytics. They help you explore probabilities, see trends, model scenarios. So the final thought for you is this. Is your current reporting setup just telling you what happened? Or is it equipped to help you answer the really critical strategic question, what will happen next?
And leveraging those sophisticated forward-looking analytics, often through modernization services like these, is really key to keeping and hopefully sharpening that competitive edge. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive on the digital shift.